Hi, I'm Suki.
And I'm Claire.
Welcome to Getting Psychic, where you can listen to us use ourselves to test the theory that anyone can get psychic.
Hi, Suki. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. So I lost my voice for a week, so we couldn't record on a normal schedule. And then we did record the Crown Chakra episode, and it didn't upload to our platform, and the cloud recording that I got was psychotic, impossible to edit. So here we are on our millionth attempt to share this beautiful Crown Chakra intel. Claire, are you still writing notes to yourself about what not to say?
Yes.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
How's your Crown Chakra doing?
I
How's
think
your higher self?
My higher self is doing okay. My lower self tends to be a little bit more confused. Higher self is jamming. Whenever I, do source point or readings with people, I'm just in that space doing it. And
yeah, you're in your Crown Chakra.
I'm in my Crown Chakra. It was cool, like, reading about it and listening to shit about it. I was listening to Carolyn Mice talk about the Crown Chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved how she put it, which was about, she called it the spiritual bank account. That
cool.
It is the place where we store our grace and prayer, and that the more that you pray or manifest or communicate with guides or whatever you want to call it, that light is always returned to you. So it will always fill that chakra. And
that's cool.
And that's where our truth lies. There in the sixth chakra.
When you say that's where our truth lies, what do you mean? You mean like our connection to our higher self, or what?
Yeah, like our mind cannot interfere with our MO, like our navigation. So when you're in sixth and crown, which she actually is, like, these two work together. Like, you can't talk about the sixth chakra without talking about the crown and vice versa, because they're in conjunction.
So third eye and crown.
They use each other's information. Yeah. When you are working from these upper chakras, the mind chitter chatter isn't as loud. And that's one of the ways that you get to interact and be in those upper chakras is by differentiating between mind chitter chatter and guidance and higher self. It's the not questioning. It's the having faith that what you are hearing is correct and is what you're being told, is your guidance, whether whoever you think it's coming from. And so when you're just there, that truth, your higher good, is the only thing that you need to pay attention to, or that you can pay attention to. There's a clarity in it.
Cool. I have been not only meditating, but praying a lot. And I think it's just kind of like a different form of meditation, right? Like the praying is usually focused on prayer for the well-being of other people and the planet. When I do it, there's a lot of people to pray for, as always. And there's a lot of tragic things happening. So I try to send that out every day, because it's impossible not to feel helpless in the face
Yeah.
of genocide, etc. Well,
Completely.
it's kind of like, I say that not to be dismissive, but
Etc. Yeah. No, not at all. But it's like it's a very large, terrible thing happening, and there are so many others.
yeah. And there have been genocides occurring since the day I stepped foot on this planet, and it's fucking sucks. But so in regard to that, this is interesting. Like, I have some friends who pray the rosary, and it's like a meditative way to to pray. And
Yeah.
yeah, like, I think a lot of people struggle with Christianity,
Mhm.
understandably, but I'm learning not to. But regardless, I bought these mala beads, which are prayer beads, or they're referred to as japa malas. They are used in both Buddhism and Hinduism. And it speaks to the historical connection between the two faiths, but there are a few differences. Most important, Buddhist japa malas typically contain a lesser number of beads than the Hindu japa malas, 108. It is usually a divisor of 108, however. But so you go through each bead, pulling one towards yourself with your thumb and never touching it with your pointer finger, but you come up with a mantra. And basically, over the course of going through the beads over 40 days, you are infusing the stones or the beads with your mantra. And after 40 days, you can then wear it. And you use a different strand for each mantra. So you can continue to pray on different ones. Like if you choose one, say, where you go through for 40 days and say, I am grounded, I am connected, or like whatever you choose as your mantra. I just think it's a really beautiful practice
Mhm.
and an addition to meditating. And it's weird because I've been thinking a lot about, because of one reason or another, infusing different crystals or stones with certain energies, which we can also do. And then this kind of came up at the exact same time where I was kind of inspired to order these. And actually, I'm going to link to the company because it's like a really legit company, and they give such beautiful instruction and history and guidance on how to use them that I feel like we should totally share it.
It's awesome.
Okay, what else did Carolyn have to say?
Well,
She's always a hoot.
it's true. After she's done yelling at you.
I know, I love it.
Me too. Actually, there was a very cool suggestion of the way to help clear out your lower chakras is to
Okay.
basically, it's like you take the energy of your sixth chakra,
Your third eyeball.
your third eyeball, and you place it in your first chakra. So it's like going into your first chakra and saying, okay, what are all the things in here that are not mine or aren't good for me? And it's about being really honest with yourself and really allowing yourself to be vulnerable and open and list all the shit that you collected as a belief system from whatever tribes you're a part of, and filtering it all through, is this what I personally actually believe, and is this something that I still need to hold on to? And if it isn't, you clear it out. If it isn't, you let it go. And just the awareness of it automatically does the job. It's like you can't undo it.
Isn't it freaking crazy how we can actually hide things from ourselves?
Completely wild.
And we know exactly where they're hidden. We know the corner that we put them in. and we just avoid them. Like, I know that I shouldn't be doing this regularly or whatever. I know that this is a energetic burden to me, but I'm the only one that knows. I'm just gonna sweep it over here continuously. It's so fucking weird. I'm gonna do this meditation for sure. That sounds so cool. And I also love the concept that it's almost like you're taking your third eyeball
Yeah.
and you're
Bringing it down.
putting it in there and looking around.
Literally. Yeah, completely. So doing it
Yeah.
with, belief systems of your tribes, then going into 2 and thinking about, well, what are you still attached to about relationships, sexuality, finances, value, how you value yourself, how you value others, what you think you deserve, what you think others deserve. And deserving is really hard for us, I think.
Yeah.
Knowing that we deserve feels cringy.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody would, or anyone that's listening to this, would have a hard time saying, like, every single person deserves peace and security and love. And so thus, if you can feel it about everyone else, you have to also apply it to yourself. And this has been a big
Oh yeah, I love that.
This has been a big thing.
Put it through the everybody else test. I like that. We have a weird way of not including ourselves.
Definitely. It's like, right, we can always give the best advice ever to our friends, but you might not take that advice, even though you could apply it
It's like
to
a
yourself.
weird, yeah, it's like a weird ego thing. It's like backwards.
I could tell you you're incredibly beautiful and strong and the most intelligent and you deserve everything positive and blah, blah, blah. But then to myself, it's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. So stupid.
Our minds.
That's where we're all heading. Oh, I know that our listeners will ask. So just a little technical. When you're bringing your third eye into your root chakra and you're clearing things, I know that you said by observing it, you release it in a sense. And is there another cool way?
I would write it down, actually. I would.
Ooh, I like that.
If I firmly believe when you write things down, you energetically remove them from you. And then,
oh, I like that.
If you want to, then burn it. And it's,
fuck yeah.
Or hold on to it
Burn it down.
And check in, and make sure it's actually gone. Because things have a way of hiding in corners. But yeah, it's all about, like bringing the light into our own darkness and observing, being able to observe everything, being able to actually see everything and recognizing that the shadow of the mouse is much bigger than the actual mouse.
Mm-hmm. The fear that we hold surrounding the things that we keep in the shadow is like disproportionate to like what.
Yeah.
It's bigger than actually what it takes to deal with it.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just like hold it up. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it all in your head. No one's going to judge you.
Nope.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the fear of looking at things is always, the anticipation is always worse. Because then once you do it, it's gone.
It's like holding a mirror up to your vagina.
Just like that.
Like, oh, it's not that bad. I've actually never done that. Well, I was giving birth once, and they asked me if I wanted a mirror, and I declined. No thanks. I'm experiencing it just fine from over up here.
Do you regret that now?
No, I don't.
No.
I mean, I know exactly what it looks like. I didn't need to see it in a mirror, but
no, I actually think that would freak me out even more than just the pain of feeling it. Being like,
speaking of investigating our dark crevices.
Serious.
So weird. Okay. I think that's really synchronistic that you brought up taking the third eye and bopping around to the other chakras is cool because this came up recently. My friend who is freaking blowing my mind with her readings, even though she thinks that she's just practicing. She's like extremely gifted and is doing like healings and exploring people's chakras, and it's just the most stunning, beautiful work, and I'm so proud of her and very excited for her path. She got this tip basically when she was doing a reading that was like, oh, for manifestation, you can take your throat chakra and pop it into your solar plexus and heighten your manifestation. Right before this call, I was doing a quick meditation, and it was intended to be a crown chakra meditation because this is a crown chakra episode. Eventually we'll get to the crown chakra. but so I did it, and I thought it was really interesting because she said just kind of skip over the heart chakra and put it into your solar plexus. And what was coming up was wild because it was green. And it was because I was holding my blue throat chakra into the light of my yellow solar plexus, and it was green. So in a way, it was totally involving
the heart,
the energy of the heart chakra at the same time. It was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But point being, bop those chakras around, see what happens.
I mean, they're all connected anyway. It's not like it's...
But I love the idea that you don't just have to keep them in their spot.
That you can use the energy in others. It's like, that's just the home of that energy. But you can bring it over here to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, like put it back when you're done. Don't leave a messy system. There's
just
chakras
piles
everywhere.
of energy all over the place.
Yeah. Can you clean up after yourself?
I know. Yeah, exactly. That would be me. Be like, I'm really good at straightening things up, but not great at cleaning.
Yeah, I just tripped on your third eye.
Eric and I are about to leave town for a month, and I was like, I just get so overwhelmed. Like, I want the house cleaned, but, I like look around and I get frozen and not knowing where to start. And he's like, just put things away, Claire. And I'm like, rude.
I mean, he's right.
Rude. I'm like, it's right next to where it's supposed to go. So that's as close as I get. Being like, it's in the vicinity.
No, step one, put stuff
just
away.
Put stuff
and then
away,
you can
Claire.
see.
I know.
Yeah, then you can
I don't
see
have enough
further
homes
detail.
for things. I have things without
Oh my
homes.
God. I don't know if you know this, but I have a lot of Virgo energy.
I do know that.
And it doesn't matter to me if there's a place for everything. I will hide things because not seeing them is my priority.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel physically, I don't care about other people's homes at all, but in my home, I feel unrest when it's chaotic. And it's easy to be chaotic because I've got a big dog and 2 kids, and our house is too small for all of these giant people. And like, I'm always just like hiding things.
Yeah.
To, Robert's dismay, but it helps me feel at peace. If I can't see anything.
I will go around and just grab piles and put them in bags and then and then shove them in like the other room or a closet or something, like, and then I'll forget that I did that, and then I'll be like, where's the things? And then it's like,
oh my God,
did you check the 4 bags underneath the desk in the bedroom? It's like,
oh my God. That's like, when you do stuff like that though, it is a good reminder of how little we need. Like, you don't really need any of the stuff that you have at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, if you go on a long trip, you're like, don't miss a thing.
I know. When I went on my big 3-month road trip and I put everything that I own in storage except for the stuff that I was bringing with me. When I got home, I was like, what is all this shit?
Like, why the hell did I pay to keep this shit? Yeah.
But I did have a big box of rocks.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, which said on it,
that's nice.
box of rocks. My friend who was helping me move was like, "You're a dick. This is literally a box of heavy rocks." I'm like, "Yes."
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that is worse than a box of books. I know that we probably talked about this early on, but I want to make sure we acknowledge the origin of chakras. So
yes,
they are a complex and ancient energy system that originated in India. They were first mentioned in the Vedas, ancient sacred texts of spiritual knowledge dating from 1500 to 1000 BC. And no one's really precisely sure of when they occurred, but the Vedas are ancient Indian texts that describe the philosophy of yoga, but they are thousands of years old. And in case you didn't know, yoga is essentially a spiritual discipline based on an extremely subtle science, which focuses on bringing harmony between the mind and body. It's not exactly just downward dog, is it now?
Or like one of those like, let's go, let's pump some, like jump up in sun salutation. Yeah, like core power.
Like, yoga. Core power yoga.
Yeah.
The function of the crown chakra is autonomy. Some other associations with the crown chakra are connection to higher power, breaking free of false beliefs, manifestations, spiritual growth, power, freedom, exuberance, vision, wisdom. It's really a beautiful chakra.
I mean,
you can find your higher self chilling in there if you want, right?
Yeah. That's what we were talking about.
Among other things. Apparently there's aliens in mine, naturally. I mean, it goes without saying, really.
That you're an alien?
Yeah.
Or that you have aliens in you?
Or that I was reincarnated from an extraterrestrial life. We will definitely touch more on that next episode, I think, because we are going to be interviewing a very special guest who will hopefully school us on all things
galactic,
Akasha, etc.
Yeah,
so that's going to be
I'm excited.
A whole crazy vibe. Also, she talks, her name's Vera. Vera talks a ton about sacred geometry and the importance of sacred geometry and how we can utilize it.
Yes.
In our practice. And
yeah, that's what
she's cool.
Source Point uses a lot of sacred geometry.
Oh yeah, it does.
The first thing that we do in a session is connect to the diamond points around the body.
Yeah, that is so cool. I actually, since I read the Source Point book, I just do that a lot.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a nice container.
Yeah, that's actually a mantra that I'll use all the time. Is so the 4 points are order, balance, harmony, and flow.
Oh, cool.
So I will just say those words to myself while imagining a diamond wrapping around me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it really chills my nervous system down.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool. So the crown is all about spiritual connection and transformation. It lifts and inspires you, connecting you to the divine. You might call this angelic energy, the source, or God. It also gives you a sense of your own divinity, the awareness that you are a soul in a human body. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
I love thinking about that.
I do too.
I mean, we're infinite.
Yeah.
Our bodies just aren't.
And it's one of those things that it allows me to not worry so much about this life.
Yeah.
And that if I'm doing it right, because it's so fast.
Yeah.
So I just have to do the best I can and be kind to myself and everyone else and hold that as, the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if I'm just like, well, this is just, a blink of an eye, and
Yeah.
it's happening, and I get to be a part of it and witness it, so might as well have fun and hopefully enjoy the shit out of it. And, granted, sometimes I'm going to puke and cry, but I mean, I'll also laugh, so that works.
The only hang up I have about all of that is that I am so grateful right now and so enjoying the spot that I'm in this life, and the lead up to this spot was so hard. I don't want to have another human life. I just don't want to do it
Oh my
because
God, I've
it's
been
so
feeling that
hard.
way for eons. I keep being like, next time jellyfish, next time jellyfish, next time jellyfish. Like, let me
Something
just
else. I mean,
float.
this is like, we all know that this is the hardest spot to incarnate. I had a I'm having a great time now, and I don't want to do it again. I don't want to like have to get to this spot where I get it. I don't want to have to get to the spot where it aligns that we're souls living in bodies. That's like sounds so freaking exhausting.
But the
to, like,
thing
have to-
is that, like, I mean, it's so fast. I really feel like once it's over, it's like your soul's like, let's go back on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a ride.
Well, and also it doesn't remember.
And yeah.
But I actually don't think. I actually just if call it a intuition, but I don't think that I'm going to reincarnate as a human right away or maybe ever again.
Sounds good.
Yeah. That's my plan anyway.
That's the plan.
But
The plan is, this is it. I just had my 49th birthday, and
happy
oh,
birthday.
thank you so much. And
Wait, I want to say that not like a baby.
okay.
Happy birthday, Claire.
Thank you so much, Suki. And it's cool because I think historically I would have been like, oh my God, I'm almost 50. It's like life is basically over. And I'm like, I'm about to go on a month-long road trip with the guy I'm marrying and to spend the rest of my life with, who I've been in love with since I was 22. And then we're going to go take our wild camera and go do an event and then drive home. And then it's just like everything just keeps unfolding. And
yeah, what you're saying is life is awesome and an adventure, and it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop as long
when
as you are totally
middle-aged.
true to yourself and what you want and need. And don't worry about like what other people think about your decisions. I mean, I've made a bunch of career decisions that I think plenty of quote unquote grown-ups would have been like, that seems dumb. But it
Totally.
was completely correct to me. And they each have unfolded into each other and given me incredible benefit and gifts that I get to just accumulate all of these beautiful tools that I get to use over and over again, or then discard some. I mean, like, I used to be a photographer, and then I got into healing work when I was like, that's
And now
not
you're
going to
doing
serve
both
me.
at the same time.
And now I'm doing both at the same time. And that's how that works. It's just like being open and allowing.
Yep.
I've been talking to a bunch of clients and people that come in for readings for aura portraits and talking about, like, this is it. This is your life. Be really good to yourself. Don't let anyone treat you like shit. And if they do,
Yeah.
bounce. Like, I don't care if you have a job that is quote unquote great. If you're being treated like garbage, it isn't a great job. It is just maybe financially acceptable. But dump it and go do a job you don't have to think about while you figure out the next step. I feel like so many people stay in positions of
And relationship
of pain and disharmony because they don't think that they can either do better or they don't know what that looks like. And all I'm saying is, well, as soon as you get out of it, you will see how many possibilities are real. But you have to make the move, especially when you're like, I know that this is not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Also, learn how to read a map.
Great advice. For when the grid goes kaput.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is something about that. I mean, AT&T went down, a couple weeks ago. And I do think that there's also something of like, you get in your car and you immediately open up GPS. So you just are listening to this robot telling you where to go, but you aren't paying attention. So you don't know. And it's like, well, we're in the easiest city in the world to navigate if you pay attention and know a couple of, things. I just think it's important that we have a sense of awareness of where we are.
I love it as that aligns to the crown chakra. It's like, let thy crown chakra be thy guide.
Yeah.
Like, turn off your mother effing GPS and listen to your higher self. I'm not talking about like to get to Trader Joe's, but in the spiritual sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
totally.
Toss your phone and listen to yourself for a minute. Like,
right.
You've been getting messages every day.
Constantly.
Since you were born.
Yeah. And we really do, and this is so first and second chakra, we listen to the directions that we're told from our parents, our teachers, our family, our tribes, our church, whatever. And
our
so
government.
then, right. And so then that's our GPS. And so what the crown chakra basically is, well, this is your navigation system. This is your North Star. Figuring out how to access it as the only GPS you need, as the only form of direction you need, is going to benefit the shit out of you.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about when you were talking earlier about choices, about life choices with work and people and whatever? I think it's technically there's no how do I put it? There's no reason why we should be doing this podcast.
Yes.
I mean, in like a capitalist approach to making choices that benefit you. There's no reason to be doing this. And it also is enriching our lives in ways that are countless and bringing us so much joy. And it's like clearly an outlet and an exercise for our throat chakras, or like, you name it. But technically, why would we do this? I'm focused on this business. You're focused on that business. Like, we should just be keeping our heads down and
to the grind.
Yeah. And there's no room for it.
No.
But we're fitting it in, and it's making our whole lives better.
Yes.
So I just think it's cool.
Because it felt right. I mean, like, you knew that a thing had to happen. And as soon as you said it to me, I was just like,
you also knew.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's correct.
It was like, oh shit, this is correct. What?
Right, totally. How bizarro.
So I am just patting us on the back because we did a good job of listening to
Mm-hmm.
that voice. And, you know, here we are.
Yeah.
And a little bit of happiness later. It's cool. It's I hope to continue to listen because even though it has taken some attention away from other goals that I have, it's actually improving every project that I do.
Mm.
It's kind of funny because I'm just gonna say this.
Yes, please.
Like we interviewed Cinnamon like
Mm-hmm.
some episodes ago, and she's rad. But you know, I talked to her a handful of times in the course of sort of developing Sparrow for Everyone, and that was always my passion project, is making products for people that weren't, one, going to make them sick, or two, you know, overpowering and just function really well. So she always in every reading was like, there's a braid, there's 3 elements, there's a rope, it's got 3 strands. Like she didn't know this, she didn't see the through line because she doesn't remember anything she says, but every time she would reference an intertwining of 3 things. And upon reflection, I 100% know that my spiritual development, my getting psychic, and this podcast are one of the, I mean, I just said 3 things, but I mean, this whole thing together is
Mm-hmm.
one of the chords of my ultimate success.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty cool. Because I was always like, okay, well, maybe it's both of my businesses and another one, or like, you know, something.
Right.
But now I very much know that this is like one of the chords. And especially because all of it brings me so much joy.
Yeah. Right. And that's the goal as far as I'm concerned. More and more, I'm just like, is it going to bring you joy?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why do it?
Yeah. Oh, wait, what was that movie I was talking to you about? Because he talks a lot about that. Okay, so there's this guy, Darryl Anka, who channels Bashar. I'm sure if you have an Instagram account and you listen to this podcast, it's fed to you constantly. He has a documentary called, was it First Contact? Yeah, I'll put it in the notes, but I think it's called First Contact. And it's about this guy, Darryl, who channels this ET that he made contact with in the 70s. And I mean, I don't care if you believe in channeling or whatever, but the stuff, the channeled material that he has had to say for like 30 years is just so beautiful. And he really is just like, well, you're here to like be passionate or be joyful. But it's hard because my reflex is, when I say stuff like that, is to immediately think about people in this life who don't have the choice exactly, in the imminent danger.
Yes.
So
I mean, no, right. It is a very privileged place to be like, choose joy. However, I do believe that within every moment, and particularly when we're in our darkest of times, having gratitude brings you closer to, I mean, even in like the worst situations, it's like the tiniest gratitudes can help connect you to that which is bigger than you, and to know that it is just right now and hopefully not forever.
yeah,
Way to make it dark.
I know it's hard not to, like, there are a lot of people that are
No, but it's
heavy on
totally
my mind
true.
lately.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think it's totally important to acknowledge that, like, when we are in the darkest of times and places, that is actually when prayer and connection into spirit and being kind to ourselves is super important. And I say that in like whatever way is possible for you.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna say some more crown chakra things. Oh, and I do have a couple of beautiful books that I want to talk about real quickie. But the crown chakra is, not surprisingly, sitting on your crown.
It's
Right.
off body, right?
Well, it sits like a crown. So it's kind of,
Like a crown.
yeah. So it's like kind of on top of your head and it radiates
Mm-hmm.
upwards.
Mm-hmm.
You can still get in there. The behavioral characteristics of the crown chakra are consciousness, awareness of higher consciousness, wisdom of what is sacred. It is like the one chakra that, our lives kind of like you can't mess with it because it is representative of other and your higher self. So
right.
like you came here with it.
Right. You can't actually, like, you can't store shit in it. It isn't a closet.
Right. So crown chakra imbalance could manifest as being disconnected to spirit, constant cynicism regarding what is sacred, or just that you can't see. An overactive crown chakra could manifest as a disconnection with the body. So kind of like the opposite. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm way too up here. I'm like not. I mean, the spiritual stuff is beautiful, and we kind of chose here to have a human life. We chose to have a human life. So we can't just live in meditation. We have things to learn like here, which I think is a good example of that, like the disconnection from the body. Another imbalance could be like living in your head, being disconnected from earthly matters, obsessive attachment to spiritual matters, which is interesting because you can go too far, okay? Stop and think before you start that podcast.
Or join that cult.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, chill out.
What crystals were you told are good?
Well, she's purple. She can also be white or even gold. So amethyst and I think some quartzy like clear quartzy numbers can be good for the crown. Wait, let me see. Chakra healing stones can help dissolve blockages and amplify healing energy. Diamond, quartz, amethyst, and other white or purple stones are ideal for healing the crown chakra. Those can be worn as jewelry or held during meditation and energy healing. And as we speak, Claire is balancing a quartz point on her head.
I really don't want to break that guy.
Yeah, please be careful.
Real pretty.
Okay, wait, I got to talk about a book. It's called The Woman's Book of Healing, Aura, Chakras, Laying On of Hands, Crystals, Gemstones, and Color by Diane Stein. I just started it, but I really love it. And she gives me a little bit of like Caroline Mice vibe.
Little bossy pants?
But in a way that I enjoy. Kind of more like she seems like a badass. And I like this book and I wanted to share it. Get it.
Get it.
Get it, love it, know it.
Oh.
But yeah, I think we did a good job of, don't make that sound, I have to delete it. I think we did a good job of crown chakra sharing. And
this has been a very dope journey to go on. I'm so glad that we chose to do this. And I hope that everyone has enjoyed it. I have played with different chakras and worked on different chakras, but to go in order and learn about them and do meditations for them and then share it really just cued me into my own like, I don't know about this one, or which is cool. I always love knowing the shit that I'm uncomfortable with so that I can stare it down.
Yeah, but the ones we were avoiding, like without really acknowledging it. I'm excited to move on to different
other shit.
I'm excited to move on to other stuff, but we're doing this as a self-education kind of too. So it was a cool move.
And now to move on to more galactic arenas.
Can't wait. Shit's gonna get weird. Tune in next time.
I'm into it. Love you, Suki.
Love you too. Bye.
That was a kiss.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts so that you never miss a new episode. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving a review to help the other psychics find their way here.